Social and mass media have had a negative impact on the United States. Social networking and mass media frequently allows spreading of misinformation. Information, whether it is correct or incorrect, diffuses rapidly with participation on social media platforms. Many people will believe anything they read when it is in line with their pre-existing beliefs. According to the Disaster of Misinformation, a review of research in social media, written by Mohammed Sadiq and Matthew Saji and published by the National Library of Medicine, repetitive exposure to contents that coincide with their pre-existing beliefs increases believability and shareability. Spreading this kind of information without further research impacts public health and politics. For example, COVID-19. In the first 3 months of 2020, 5,800 people were hospitalized due to COVID-related misinformation, and at least 800 of these people died, believing that consuming methanol and alcohol-based cleaning products would cure them of the virus. This was stated in an article published by the BBC called Hundreds Dead because of COVID-19 misinformation. And though the story wasn't from the US, similar things occurred because of the misinformation that spread online. As described by the data, many people have a tendency to support information that confirms their pre-existing beliefs, regardless of the source, evidence that proves otherwise, or opposing viewpoints. Misinforming and fear-mongering prevents people from understanding important topics which affect the trajectory of not just the country as a whole, but the individuals around us. Secondly, having such easy access to misinformation could negatively impact the structure of the country and politics when people don't make informed decisions on who or what exactly they are voting for. Certain laws impact largely on specific individuals or groups, especially when it comes to the rights of women and minorities. To add on, younger generations are constantly exposed to social and mass media and are far more susceptible to false information and could grow up lacking a sense of judgment between correct and incorrect information. Social and mass media have also had a negative impact on the country due to online hate speech and harassment being increasingly common catalysts for acts of violence in the United States. An increased number of attacks on immigrants and other minorities have raised concerns as the connections between pejorative and discriminatory speech online and violent acts. According to Hate Speech on Social Media, Global Comparisons, written by Zachary Lobb and published by Council on Foreign Relations in 2019, individuals inclined toward racism, misogyny, or homophobia have found niches that can reinforce their views and goad them to violence. Furthermore, politics around transgender rights, women's reproductive rights, voting rights, and racial justice are a contributor to the heightened rates of hateful speech online and discriminatory beliefs, and are fueled by political campaigns against transgender people and minorities. Online harassment can equally spill into offline attacks, especially against marginalized groups like women, LGBTQ+ people, people of color, and Jews, according to Online Hate and Harassment, The American Experience, 2023, from the Center of Technology and Society. Social media and online forums allow for people with hateful, prejudiced, and discriminatory views and ideologies to find specific niches which support these views. People are then able to discuss and reaffirm said views with other like-minded individuals. Hateful speech is given momentum by encouragement of harassment, both online and offline, toward marginalized groups. In some cases, violence is enacted against a minority group, which, shown by evidence, is frequently connected to previously stated hate online. This causes for the fear of safety of self and others, bringing some people to even hide their identity out of fear of getting hurt. There's also a breach of trust between the individual and the government when laws are made which hurt these groups. laws which violate female bodily autonomy, laws against gender-affirming care, and the recent change in Florida's Board of Education, preventing proper education of America's history of slavery. Hate online also causes so much unnecessary death, all because of ignorance towards someone who is different. Lastly, media multitasking has stunted the cognitive abilities of many young people. 70% of Americans media multitask, even using multiple forms of media simultaneously, rendering people cognitively fragmented. Increased use of media, particularly in reference to multi-consumption of media, causes reduced attention spans and has negatively altered the brain by reprogramming the memory and focus functions. When forced to use only one medium at a time, researchers found that people struggled to maintain focus on a single task and became anxious or agitated. Shown by research, when a person must focus on one task, they find it difficult to act out negatively. The long-term effects of memory and attention span deficits demonstrate a clear lapse in cognitive function in many young people. Media multitasking causes media addiction. A dependence is formed due to the ever-increasing need for stimulation and release of dopamine, similar to that of the effects of drug addiction. Media multitasking and media use in general has also made it harder to form real-life social connections. A lot of younger people lack social skills because they are more familiar with socializing through technology. More serious impacts are psychological. Capacity to focus on other tasks is impeded when you have to actively tell yourself to ignore your phone. Media withdrawal causes anxiety and depression, and being without a phone can cause nomophobia, which is described in the textbook Introduction to Human Connection as discomfort or anxiety caused by non-availability of a mobile device.